The views and opinions expressed on this channel are solely those of the host and guest and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This channel does not promote bias, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. All questions posed and thoughts shared are part of a critical thinking exercise and are not meant to offend or judge any individual or group. We encourage respectful dialogue and love for all. Please remember to think critically and engage thoughtfully. We aim to foster a positive and inclusive community where everyone feels welcome. Thank you for being a part of Risky Behavior ENT.
Risky behavior. Risky behavior.
Yo, what is up? What is up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I know you're probably reading the title. Got a insane. When I seen this story, I was like, what the fuck is going on in this sick ass world that we are currently living in? Today's title, she was only 14. Why? Oh, why was she getting plastic surgery? Allow me to share my screen as I wait for people to come in the building. Remember, as you come in the room, if you could smash that like button, put me in the algorithm as we go over this story. I want to give shout out to the Law and Crime Network. Check out the Law and Crime Network on YouTube for all things true crime, one-stop shop if you like these stories and you want to know what's going on in the world around you. This story is going to be let me put these people up on the screen. This is a story out of Mexico. Very sad story. 14-year-old girl gets plastic surgery, boob job, apparently a BBL. Why somebody would want to do that to a 14-year-old? Take your best guess. Take your best guess. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Alrighty. Then I'm sure you see the article. Well-deserved mother, stepfather face charges after 14-year-old's fatal cosmetic procedure. Mhm. All right, I want to welcome everyone back to Risky Behavior ENT, where I expose the cases that force, not just expose, but that shine light on, bring awareness to the cases that force society to confront its own reflection. Today's story or current story that we're going over right now comes out of Mexico and is one that has shaken the people across borders. A 14-year-old girl is dead after allegedly undergoing multiple plastic surgeries performed by her own stepfather and approved by her own mom. Right? So this was done in the full knowledge of the adults who were supposed to protect her. And here's the part that makes this case even more disturbing. In Mexico, cosmetic procedures on minors aren't automatically illegal. You know, as long as a child can be under the age of what we consider to be a minor, as long as the parent approves, then they'll do it. That means the child. Oh my God, I don't know. Like my screen just froze. My apologies. That means a child, a literal child, could be put under the knife in a world that's already obsessed with over sexualizing young girls, pushing them toward adult beauty standards before they even understand what adulthood is. But the biggest question, but the biggest question isn't about the law, it's about the mother. How does a mother hand her daughter over for surgeries she didn't need? How does a parent allow a man, a stepfather, to operate on her child's body? This isn't just a medical tragedy, it's a cultural one. And it's a betrayal that cuts deeper than any incision. All right. All right. This is the young lady, Paloma Nicole. This is how the 14-year-old's cosmetic surgeries were hidden before her death. We're going to go over some articles, then we're going to jump right into the videos. Let's see. Everything's popping up correctly. Oh, shit. What's up, man? I got my brother T in the building. What up, bro? Another story, another day, another sick ass parent out here doing wild shit. Says here, Paloma Nicole was 14 years old and died last Saturday. This is older, but just when this article came out. Paloma Nicole was 14 years old and died on a Saturday, September the 20th, in a Durango hospital due to complications from COVID-19 and cosmetic surgery she underwent at the hands of her mother and stepfather. I also want to point out that this girl has a dad that is a part of her life that loves her very much, but the mom and the stepdad told him at the time it was just COVID-19. They lied about the cosmetic surgery part. And he discovered this when he saw her body and saw scars on her chest area. Now, her father is seeking justice for his daughter as he believes the minor's death was the result of clear medical negligence. And this article will tell you what we know about it. Recently, Carlos said Arleno, who is Paloma Nicole's father, gave an interview to Jorge Octavio Arroyo Martinez, who is better known as Mr. Doctor. And during the talk, the father of the deceased minor offered new details of the media death of his daughter, which occurred as a consequence of COVID-19 and cosmetic surgery, which was performed by her stepfather, Victor Manuel Rosales, and her own mother, Paloma Yasmin Escobedo, probably fucking these names up, who he accused of performing medical functions without being accredited to do so. Carlos said Arleno stated that on Thursday, September the 11th, Paloma Nicole tested positive for COVID-19 after feeling ill at school. And after this diagnosis, the minor's mother notified the father that she would take her to some cabins in the mountains area of Durango to be isolated and have a better recovery, for which she warned him that he would not be able to communicate with her for 3 or 4 days, which was not true because the next day the minor was admitted to the operating room to undergo a breast augmentation as well as to have a fat transfer. Okay. Now I put the subtitles on, but I do like to play some local news when I'm doing the story. So we'll see. Shout out to T said, what you say? Out with the fam, so I won't be long. Just had to stop by to say what's up. I'm about to start posting soon myself. I got a few reactions recorded. All right, man. That's what's up, man. Let me know, man. Make sure you share it with me, dog. Shout out G says, love, 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 happy self-love day. Y'all stay safe and warm in creators' arms. I love y'all. I love us all. Same to you. Right back to you. T says Escubadu is how you say that, I believe. One of my ex's last name. Oh man. Yeah, man. You see me struggling with it, man, bro. I was like, what Let's see. Ark Noise says China is going to buy all the United States land and rent it back to our citizens. They're going to take everything you have, buy gold. The Epstein files are going to collapse Bitcoin in a quick. Oh, man. And he follows up with a Scooby Dooby Doo. That's what's up. All right.
Negligencia médica en una cirugía estética. Mi compañera Judith Arroyo nos tiene los detalles completos. Judith, buenas tardes, cuéntanos.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes para todos allá en el estudio. Exactamente, así como lo comentaban, la muerte de Paloma Nicole, una adolescente de 14 años, ha conmocionado a la sociedad duranguense y ha encendido una alarma ante este posible caso de negligencia médica y el encubrimiento que rodea esta tragedia. Fue su padre quien, a través de redes sociales este domingo, dio a conocer los hechos que han marcado de dolor a su familia. Su hija fue sometida a una cirugía estética sin su consentimiento, procedimiento realizado por un cirujano plástico, hijo de un magistrado local y pareja sentimental de la madre de la menor. De acuerdo con el testimonio del padre de Paloma Nicole, Carlos Said Arellano, tras varios días de complicaciones médicas y sufrimientos aparentemente por COVID, la adolescente falleció el 20 de septiembre y el certificado de defunción se asentó que la causa había sido por enfermedad, lo que calificó como un intento de ocultar la verdadera responsabilidad detrás de esta tragedia. Pues en la funeraria, su padre, acompañado de los familiares, abrieron el ataúd y se dieron cuenta que la menor tenía implantes mamarios. El caso fue denunciado formalmente ante la Fiscalía General del Estado y el domingo por la noche el cuerpo de la menor fue retirado de la funeraria para realizarle la necropsia de ley, por lo que continuarán en espera de los resultados. Al respecto, pues Carlos Said exige que se investigue a todos los involucrados en este caso y solicitó también la intervención del gobernador Esteban Villegas y de su esposa Marisol Rosso para que, pues la muerte de la menor, quien tenía todo un futuro por delante, no quede impune. Por su parte, la fiscal Sonia Yadira de la Garza Fragoso aseguró que ya están investigando el caso y no habrá impunidad. Así es que, pues vamos a escuchar la declaración del padre de Paloma Nicole.
Así es, que sea justicia. Quien tenga que pagar las consecuencias de la muerte de mi niña tiene que pagarlo. No se vale. Era una niña de 14 años, una niña feliz, una niña que disfrutaba la vida, que tenía mucho futuro, deportista, excelente estudiante, muy amiguera. Ustedes lo van a ver, infinidad de gente ha venido aquí, infinidad de gente, lo cual les agradezco mucho. Les agradezco mucho a todas las personas, las llamadas, los mensajes. No les he podido contestar a muchos porque la verdad son demasiados los mensajes que tengo, pero saben que de corazón les agradezco a todos las muestras de cariño. Quien me conoce sabe que mi niña era todo para mí. Saben que era todo para mí. Y yo quiero que sea justicia, que no quede en esto nada más la muerte de mi niña. Que es esa que la verdad. Quiero pedir el apoyo del señor gobernador, de su esposa Marisol, que me ayuden a esclarecer lo que pasó con mi niña, apoyándonos en las autoridades. Ellos van a realizar su trabajo y les pido de su apoyo, por favor. Yo sé que son padres, saben el dolor por lo que estoy pasando, han de entenderme de que estoy deshecho por la muerte de mi niña.
La noticia ha causado indignación social ante, cómo sucedieron los hechos. Una lamentable noticia. El padre de la menor ha recibido muchos mensajes de apoyo a través de redes sociales de compañeros de la escuela de Paloma Nicole, compañeros del deporte también. Entonces, esto habla de la urgencia que tienen las autoridades para esclarecer los hechos y que este caso, no quede impune.
Judith, una pregunta. Nos comentaban en la nota que no había autorización para esta cirugía, pero pareciera aparentemente que la madre sí firmaría dicha autorización. En caso de ser, como es menor de edad, ¿tendrían que haber sido ambos quienes firmaran esta autorización?
Exactamente, se habla de que únicamente la madre estaba al tanto de esta operación, de esta cirugía estética. El padre desconocía la situación, incluso comentaba que a él le dijeron que se iba a ir a unas cabañas durante el fin de semana, que iba a estar bien, y ya cuando le avisaron que tenía complicaciones médicas, bueno, ya estaba en el hospital. Entonces sí se habla de esta posible negligencia también por parte de médicos. El cirujano, el posible cirujano en esta operación, pues era pareja de la madre de Paloma Nicole. Entonces sí, es un hecho lamentable y que pues tiene muchas, pues muchos casos que se deben de analizar.
Inconsistencias que ya la autoridad se encargará de lindar responsabilidades. Vamos a estar muy pendientes, pero bueno, esto nos da a un llamado de reflexión en relación a las cirugías estéticas en las jóvenes, porque pues 14 años todavía.
Oh man, very, very, very sad. Very sad. It's hard to imagine, you know, what that father is.
An absolutely shocking story out of Mexico. A 14-year-old girl is dead.
All right, let's get into the videos, man. Looked it up. Is it even illegal to give a 14-year-old cosmetic surgery? I was thinking that it was. Like, I didn't think that you can give a 14-year-old anywhere, give a 14-year-old breast implants, BBL, stuff like that. I didn't think you could do that. Apparently in Mexico, you can if the parents sign off on it. I'm unsure though if the parents are going to if the mom is going to get in trouble, because it seems like the mom signed off on it, but the father was not made aware of this. Would it be enough for the mom, and since she's married, for the stepdad to sign off on it? I wonder, would they get in trouble for that?
Performed multiple surgeries on her, and her father reportedly saw the scars during funeral services. So now he's demanding an investigation into the doctor for allegedly doing the surgery and his ex-wife for allowing it. And he wants to know if the ill-advised surgeries contributed to his daughter's death. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey everybody, this is a Law and Crime legal alert. There are allegations of addiction, free dependent Boston industry offered a lawsuit to file. It is an unthinkable. It has ignited a firestorm. And check your eligibility to file.
All right, okay.
This story has ignited a firestorm across the world. And I will tell you, it is an unthinkable situation. A young teenager is dead, and plastic surgery may have been a contributing factor. This is a rapidly developing story out of Durango, Mexico, and we want to talk about the very latest that is coming from this based on reporting from various Latin American outlets. So on September 20th, Carlos Arellano received devastating news that his daughter, Paloma Nicole Arellano Escobedo, was dead. But it is the circumstances around her death that are maybe murky at best, and it was a discovery that was made at the funeral home that has turned this entire story, this entire case on its head. According to MVS Noticias, Carlos posted on social media that he'd been told about a week earlier on September 12th that Paloma Nicole was going on a trip to the mountains with her mother, his ex-wife, Paloma Jasmine. But then, according to reporting from Publimetro, he gets a call from her on September 15th claiming that Paloma Nicole had been diagnosed with COVID-19 and was in the hospital. Although it's unclear if she was in an actual hospital or a private clinic of some kind. The reporting is kind of mixed on that. But Carlos and some family members of his side of the family, they rushed to the hospital where Paloma Nicole had been put into an induced coma, was intubated. This is according to Publimetro. And the outlet reports that when she died on September 20th, her mother and her mother's new partner, they were the ones who took care of the arrangements, quickly whisking her away to a funeral home. Okay, that's the allegation. Now, in fact, according to reporting from El Siglo de Durango, the local prosecutors said that 911 got a call about the death of a minor, so they went to investigate, but the body had already been taken away. Now, according to Carlos, the cause of death for his daughter was listed as an illness, So allegedly some sort of respiratory disease, possibly related to COVID-19. And while the death certificate reportedly mentioned a cerebral edema, hypoxic encephalopathy, and bradycardia, El Siglo de Durango reports that both parents agreed with the death certificate at the time. But that soon changed. When Carlos arrives at the funeral home, he discovers this awful secret, that his daughter appeared to have had major surgery. The Arizona Republic news outlet here in the United States included a statement reportedly from Carlos via the prosecutor's office in Durango. And that statement says, quote, "At the funeral, some relatives told me her breasts were larger than what she had before. And when I mentioned it to her mother, she told me it wasn't true, that she didn't know anything. That night, I asked her mother to leave the room so I could talk to the girl to say my goodbyes. For some reason, she didn't want to. I managed to convince her and her entire family to leave, and they did. My sister, my sister-in-law, my mother, and I stayed inside. They examined my daughter, and sure enough, she had breast implants. We have photographs of the implants and the scars." But in an interview with a popular content creator,
and that's just insane. What kind of mom? Like, you got co-parenting, like nightmares, and relationships don't always work out and stuff. But you would hope that if the person you had a kid with was saying, "Hey, we're going away, or we're going to take a trip," or you wouldn't think they would come up with this whole just elaborate plan. Like, I don't think anybody would guess that's what it is. I mean, maybe a mom might be a little bit ignorant to you, and you think the parent may sneak and let them get a nose ring, or maybe like a little butterfly tattoo or something like that. But fucking breast implants. And so of course, after this girl has died, of course she's hiding the body and trying to push the funeral because she don't want no damn autopsy, because she knows what she's hiding. And a 14-year-old isn't even, there's no need to even do work on a 14-year-old. They're not fully grown. You don't know what their body is going to look like, or what you don't know what they're going to look like when they grow up and get older. Why does this mom feel a need to I don't know, give her daughter a sexual appeal to make her look older, make her grow up fast? Like, what goes on in the mind of a person like that?
named Jorge Octavio Arroyo Martinez, who uses the moniker Mr. Doctor online, Carlos apparently revealed even more shocking information, that not only had his 14-year-old daughter been given breast implants, but apparently she had undergone liposuction and a Brazilian butt lift, also known as a BBL. So according to Carlos, the surgeries were a, quote, gift for this teen in advance of her 15th birthday. And they were allegedly performed by Dr. Victor Manuel Rosales Galindo, Paloma Nicole's stepfather. But Carlos says he never consented to these procedures, and he never would have. According to his Facebook page, Galindo has his own plastic surgery practice and also works out of La Hospital de Paz in Durango. He's posted photos of himself performing all kinds of plastic surgeries, and he's also posted photos of his wife and stepdaughter, Paloma Nicole, calling them his princesses. He was reportedly a member in good standing of the Mexican Council of Plastic, Aesthetic, and Reconstructive Surgery. Now, I will tell you, he has since been suspended, according to TMZ. MSV Noticias reports that Galindo allowed his wife, Paloma Jasmine, to work alongside him during medical procedures and surgeries, despite, by the way, her not having studied medicine. And when Carl...
I'll rewind a little bit. It looks like even maybe he's doing work on his wife as well, and they just want to keep it all in the family. And that's a big deal and a problem. How is he a doctor? And they say he's in good standing, but at the same breath, you got your wife who has no medical knowledge in the rooms with you, working with you. It's just a hot mess. Like, seriously.
Medical procedures and surgeries, despite, by the way, her not having studied medicine. And when Carlos discovered scars on his teen daughter's body, he immediately raised alarms. He went to the prosecutor's office demanding an investigation. Now, Paloma Nicole's body was taken for an autopsy, and the results are still pending. They're expected to be released soon. Geraldo de Mexico reports that Carlos told Mr. Doctor that his ex-wife insisted she did nothing to Paloma Nicole and maintained that the girl.
Oh, yes, she definitely has had work done. Definitely. And it seems like she's trying to push that same type of stuff on her own daughter. That's crazy.
Girl died from a severe case of coronavirus. As of now, the local Durango prosecutor, Sonia Yadira de la Garza Fragosa, has said that both Galindo and Paloma Nicole's mother are under investigation. In a statement that was translated from Spanish, Fragoso said, "We are investigating a probable lack of care on the part of the mother, a criminal offense contemplated in our code, placing a minor who is under her care and custody in risky situations. We are also reviewing whether there was malpractice in the surgery performed on the teenager. There could be a crime of negligent homicide and probably medical professional liability." All right, so to talk about these apparent allegations of malpractice, to talk about what might have happened to this young girl, what are the possibilities as this investigation is unfolding? I want to welcome back Coroner Dr. Nada Rutherford. Doctor, thank you so much for taking the time. This is a shocking story to me. First of all, when you hear something about this and you're thinking, is it possible that there could have been complications that contributed to the death of this young girl from plastic surgery, what should we be thinking of?
Absolutely. We have a celebrity example of someone who died while undergoing plastic surgery procedures. Kanye West's mom died as a result of complications from receiving plastic surgery. So what would make someone think that a 14-year-old girl who's still developing would not possibly have complications? So you have possible breast augmentation, possible butt implants. From all of the stuff I've been seeing online, there seem to have been multiple surgeries that could have possibly taken place for this 14-year-old girl. And seeing a death certificate that says cerebral edema, well, I have lots of questions as an investigator, as a nurse practitioner, as a coroner, as a healthcare provider. There are so many things wrong with this case.
What does that mean? When the death certificate says cerebral edema, bradycardia, hypoxic encephalopathy, what are those? And does that mean they're contributed in any way? Could those be contributed in any way by complications with plastic surgery?
Well, one, you have to take a look at what this hypoxia is. So hypoxia is a lack of oxygen flowing through the bloodstream. And so you have a decreased level of oxygen, which when your brain has a decreased level of oxygen, it's going to try to do everything that it can do in the body to try to get oxygen there. But that overworking of the brain in the simplest form possible is going to cause that brain to swell. Also, when you have plastic surgery, there are certain rules that apply about the balance that you must have. So if this young girl at 14 years old, body still developing, is receiving any sort of IV fluids throughout this procedure, and either an overabundance or not enough, that salt level, that sodium level in her brain can cause that brain to swell. So we see this in patients who are dehydrated, but we also see it in patients who are overhydrated. So what were they doing during this procedure that could have caused her sodium balance to be off, to cause something like cerebral edema? We know that she had some sort of respiratory failure because we see the hypoxia, but what was that from? She could have had a number of things that happened. Sometimes even if implants are too large for the chest that they're being placed in, that can cause a restriction of your breathing. So did she have hypoxia related to a restriction of her breathing? There are wraps that people have to be placed in once you've had this type of surgery. Was that restricting her breathing and no one noticed? She seemed to be such a petite young woman, and so many things could be wrong with this scenario.
And it's it makes you think though, her having her expertise, and when she explains all the things that can go wrong in surgery, the way your body reacts when you do things to it. It reminds me that even when you have children that have to have that they have to have a surgery, right? It's scary then. And so to think, you have a mom and you have a stepdad that's willing to do a surgery that's not needed. They're just doing it for what? For no reason at all, just doing it. And now you have a young lady that this investigation may prove that y'all killed her. For what? Why? 14 years old, I would think she needs to focus on school, that, programs, the rest of her life, hanging out with friends, doing little girl stuff, not sitting on an operation table, getting breast implants and BBLs.
Can you just elaborate one more time, at such a young age, why plastic surgery for someone that young is so concerning?
Well, one, the plastic surgery wasn't necessary for her life to be saved. So we see plastic surgery when someone has been in a traumatic accident, burns, car accidents, where they need some sort of surgical trauma, ICU care. So we can see plastic surgery during times like that. But this didn't seem to be the case here. She seemed to be a normal, healthy, thriving young woman. I don't know why anyone would approve plastic surgery on someone at this age. Her body is still developing. She's still going through the Tanner stages of development. She doesn't even know what her breasts will look like by the time she's 18 or 21. I certainly think this is an adult decision and something that really should not have happened.
So Durango's prosecutor appeared before officials this week to give an update on the case. And there have been allegations now of a cover-up of some kind, although by whom kind of remains unclear, because the prosecutor seemed to confirm that there was some apparent conspiracy, because at some point, per reporting from El Siglo de Durango, Carlos was sent a certificate indicating a positive COVID-19 test, which he sent to Paloma Nicole's school to explain her absence. Fregoso said that there are indications that their certificate was a forgery because it doesn't appear in her medical file, and the person who allegedly wrote it up has denied ever doing so to investigators. Let's start right here. Nada, could COVID-19 have caused a death like this?
Sure. You can acquire hospital infections, certainly being in the hospital. They have all sorts of respiratory precautions. They'll restrict your visits and all those things. But if she was positive for COVID, if this truly was a hospital acquired infection, respiratory infection, then she would have been on so many precautions. Her family would have had to glove up and gown up and mask up before they went into her room. Based on American standards, this is what should happen, right? There are restrictions to going into someone's room. But before you have surgery, you should also be tested. And no one's going to take you under the knife if you are positive for COVID. So again, that's a red flag for me. Why would you put someone under general anesthesia who is already infected with a respiratory illness that is known to be fatal? Again, all the red flags here.
Now, the rumors of a cover-up, they were also bolstered by the fact that Galindo's father is a prominent former judge in Durango. Fregoso insisted that no family members had intervened, but obviously people made connections here. The prosecutor also reported that Paloma Nicole was awake following the surgery, but then quickly deteriorated, was hospitalized. And Fregoso pointed out that between the time she was admitted to the time she was declared dead, she was attended to by multiple doctors and nurses and technicians. So I wonder, Dr. Rutherford, could her death be attributed to the cosmetic procedure, or did something happen in the hospital that caused her death?
The autopsy report on this is.
Thank you, Miss Candy. Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And yes, 14 is way too young for anything. Child is still growing and it has no idea what their body's going to look like in the future. And it's heartbreaking to me that they would even do something like this to a child, man. 14 that's a baby.
going to be so important. The dad needs to push for an autopsy to be performed. Even if a body has been embalmed, it can still receive an autopsy. And I think this is so important in this case. He needs to push for an autopsy for his daughter, whether she developed a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot that settles in the lungs, whether she had a stroke in her brain, ischemic, meaning lack of oxygen, or hemorrhagic, where her brain may have been bleeding. What I have gathered in the information that I've looked at online is that there is so much that is missing from this. Forgery, possible cover-up, conspiracy theory, it doesn't matter. We need to look inside of this young girl's body to see what actually happened to her. Because if she has a pulmonary embolus, we'll be able to see that on an autopsy. If she was given too much anesthesia, we'll be able to see that on a toxicology report. If she had cerebral edema, that is going to be evident at the time of autopsy. When they do the head dissection and they reflect that scalp, they're going to be able to see if there was any trauma to her skull, any trauma to her brain, if there's any bleeding there. So the autopsy report is going to be so important, and this dad should not stop until he gets that autopsy report. So everybody else, they can be quiet. Let's see what the autopsy says.
You seem very confident that they will get answers if an autopsy is performed correctly. Is there a possibility that the cause of death could be indeterminate, that it may too many complicating factors? We won't know exactly what happened to this girl. Maybe there could be assumptions, maybe there'll be supporting evidence of some kind, but strictly the autopsy, how confident are you that will provide the answers that the family's looking for?
Well, based on the information that we have access to, they say that she's got cerebral edema. They say she had COVID-19. You can do a postmortem COVID-19 test. That's very simple. That's a swab, just like you would do on a person who's alive. If she has cerebral edema, that is going to be evident when they weigh her brain. They're going to be able to see fluid and swelling in her brain that doesn't go away just because someone passes away. If there are any ischemic areas where there's tissue that has started to discolor or die because of a lack of blood flow, we're going to be able to see that. If she was in the hospital and she was receiving any sort of vasopressive therapy, medication that shunts blood to those major organs, those things are going to be present in her system. So again, I'm confident that the autopsy, if done correctly, is going to give us some answers. Will it give us her actual cause of death? I'm not certain about that, but I know that we can glean a lot from getting that autopsy and the toxicology done.
Now, the Durango State Commission for Health Risk Protection announced that it is doing its own parallel investigation, and they released some information about the clinic where the surgery allegedly took place, saying that while the clinic was practically brand new, it had all the necessary permits and licenses, and according to the commission, Paloma Jasmine signed paperwork authorizing the cosmetic.
Yeah, her mom is done up. I think this was all about the mom. I think the mom wanted the daughter to be like her, and probably talked her into and convinced her into getting implants, which is crazy. Shout out Miss Candy. You said you was 23 when you got yours. How did you feel afterwards? Did it change your breathing and stuff? Did you ever like maybe get a cold or get sick afterwards? Do you remember? I don't know how long ago that might have been. What up, man? I got my brother, the Prince of Petty, in the building. Wah. What up, man? Man, yeah, we talking about this girl out, young girl out of Mexico, 14 years old. Apparently had breast implants. There are also some people also suggesting she may have also got what they call a BBL. This was done by the mother and the stepfather. The stepfather is a surgeon, and he did the procedure, but her father, her biological father, didn't know anything about it, and only discovered it at the funeral home. When looking at her body, he noticed, because other family members that had seen the little girl said, well, hey, we went to see her and her breasts are bigger. I mean, this is a small, petite girl. We're talking about 14 years old at that. And the father asked her mom about it. She said, well, I don't know what they're talking about. That's not true. The father went and requested to have some alone time with the body to say his goodbyes. which was probably so that he could check for himself because he felt like he was being lied to. And when he checked, he saw the scar tissue. And so that's, how this story has gotten out because, the mom and the stepdad were just going to say, hey, it was COVID and sweep it under the rug. Even detectives that came to view the body, the mom and the stepdad had moved the body before they even got there to come look and investigate, so they're obviously trying to cover something up. They're obviously lying about something. It's insane. Let's see here. Miss Candy says it also matters where they cut and inserted the implant bags. If they went under the muscle, it's very invasive. Man. It just sounds scary and so serious. You know what I mean? It's got to be an adult decision. It's got to be. I can't believe that there's anywhere on earth where it's approved to operate on a 14-year-old like that. Yeah. Okay. Miss Candy says it did. I hate when that happens. My phone freezes. I appreciate you, Miss Candy. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. My screen had froze on me for a little bit. All right, let me watch the rest of this.
Cosmetic procedure. By the way, which brings us to the big question. Is it illegal to perform cosmetic procedures like this on a minor? The answer appears to be no. The president of the Board of Government and Political Coordination told reporters that currently there's no ban for young people as long as at least one parent gives their permission. El Siglo de Durango reports that Mexican Senator Margarita Valdez plans to take legislative action prohibiting unnecessary cosmetic surgeries on people under the age of 21. She pointed out that the Senate banned child marriages and should ban this too. Durango Informativo reported comments from Durango Governor Esteban Villegas Villarreal. He said Wednesday that he sympathizes with Carlos. Quote, if I were in his shoes and I hadn't been informed about what was happening with my daughter, it would be a very complex topic. I want to tell dad, family, and friends that there will be no impunity. Justice will be served and the whole process will be transparent. And even the most prominent Mexican officials are weighing in on this story. During a news conference earlier this week, Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, told reporters that the government would be glad to look over the case and make sure justice is done for Paloma Nicole. Now, Carlos has been a loud voice in the call for change. There was a march that was planned for this weekend with the focus on helping girls feel safe and comfortable in their own skin. In a post on Instagram under the slogan, "Girls Don't Need Implants," Carlos wrote in a translation from Spanish to English, "We cannot continue to normalize the sexualization of girls or allow the ambition of some adults to put their lives at risk. We demand justice and that this crime does not go unpunished. Girls deserve to grow up free, safe, and respected." An Arizona Central article took a closer look at plastic surgery stats here in the United States, too. According to data they looked at from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons in 1996, 14,000 cosmetic procedures were performed on teen patients. That number jumped to more than 286,000 by 2024. And of those, most were minimally invasive, but more than 23,000 were full-blown surgical procedures. That's according to the medical group. So, Dr. Rutherford, as we continue this case, we look into it, do those numbers alarm you? And how many times have you seen cases where it is complications from medical procedures like this that contribute to someone's death?
We see complications from medical procedures all the time, whether someone's getting a cardiac cath done because they're having a heart attack, whether someone is going in for implant surgery or a nose job or whatever it is. We see complications from these types of surgeries because general anesthesia, putting someone under, you are decreasing their respiratory rate, you are putting them in harm's way. And yes, that's why you sign informed consent here in the US. Before a procedure is done, you take what's called a time out and you make sure it's the right patient, the right body part, the right procedure, the right physician. And does a patient understand that when you undergo general anesthesia, that you have the risk of having hyperthermia, where you can get a fatal fever that happens as a result of this type of procedure that you can have respiratory complications because they have a tube down your throat. There are so many different things that can happen when you're under anesthesia. And if you are signing an informed consent and you understand the risk that you're undertaking, sure, but parents should be involved in those decisions. So why was her father left out of the decision? And why was this woman's boyfriend, who's a plastic surgeon, allowed to, I guess, facilitate this type of surgery under this mom's directive?
The allegations are disturbing, to say the least. And, hearts and prayers go out to this family trying to make sense of what happened here. Really, really tragic situation. Dr. Nita Rutherford, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, man. Her mom is a sick puppy. Sick puppy. I don't know. It's just, you just think that because as a mom, you think like as a mother, no, protect my baby. Then you think as a woman, it would be like, let me not sexualize this little girl. Like she don't need no boobs and BBL and stuff. You would think those different things would kick in the brain of a person. But I guess not all the time. Right? Let me see. Well, apparently, it's saying that they were arrested. So I gotta load this damn thing up. Apparently, they were arrested. Goody, goody, goody. All right. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna just play the video, but it's but they do. They got an article here. MSN surgeon who performed fatal breast surgery on 14-year-old is arrested. Says the mother and stepfather, 14-year-old Paloma Nicole, who died after undergoing multiple cosmetic surgeries in central Mexico, have been arrested and charged. Nicole, who would have soon celebrated her birthday, is reported to have undergone breast augmentation and fat removal procedure on September the 12th. Just a week later, she was hospitalized in critical condition, and days after that, she tragically passed away. That's another thing that they were saying is supposedly this is supposed to be like an early happy 15-year birthday present. I don't know. Apparently, these people, it's breast implants is a birthday gift now, I guess. I don't know. That's weird to me. But that's what they said. I don't know why they thought that would be a good excuse. Her biological father later discovered the truth about her death, initially told by Nicole's mother that COVID-19 was to blame. He inspected his daughter's body with the help of a relative and found clear signs of surgical intervention. That's another thing that I remember people pointed out. He didn't actually look at his daughter's body. So when it says he did it with the help of a relative, even as a father, he still did not want to view his daughter's body. Even in her death, he respects her body, and so he himself would not. So he had somebody else check it. And I remember people was shouting him out on the internet because of that, just the respect and love he had for his daughter that clearly the mom didn't have at all. So it says local outlets, including Victoria de Durango and Latinas, report that Nicole's mother, identified as Paloma Jasmine, and her partner, Victor Manuel, have now been detained by police. Victor Manuel, who is not a licensed surgeon, is accused of carrying out the procedures himself, according to New Outlet. So they're saying he's not a licensed surgeon, but you have some reports saying that he was in good standing. That's crazy. Yeah, so this is a whole mess. Soya Yadira, the state's attorney general, confirmed the pair faced multiple charges, including neglect of their duties as guardians, use of false documents, and impersonation. Authorities also say Nicole's mother posed as a nurse during the surgery despite having no medical training. Oh my God. These some evil people. What the hell? Shout out Miss Candy says the mom and Dr. Boyfriend are demented. Yes, that's insane. So this article is saying he wasn't licensed to do no. And she was in the room dressed as a nurse. She ain't no nurse. You know what? He probably does like little stuff like maybe he does little lip fillers. You see what I'm saying? But then so maybe he had just opened up his own business doing things like this. But maybe but I thought that meant before, because the way they were reporting it before, I was like, maybe he is like a doctor, surgeon or something. But apparently they're saying he isn't licensed to do what he was doing. Oh my God. I need somebody to make sense of all this. And so Prince says, so did the surgeon have proper paperwork or not? The problem is, Prince, I think he was there and he participated, as well as the nurse, as well as the wife, the mom. She was in the room also acting as if she was a nurse. It's like they were all in there. So you see what I'm saying? So he would get in trouble to the I guess we have to wait for more of the investigation to come out to see exactly what position did he play being in the room, as well as the mom. Did they handle any of the equipment? Did he make any decisions on her body? Like, what did he actually do the role he played? So I guess more of that is going to come out. Yeah, we got to stay up to date on this one. Let's see. Miss Candy says he was practicing on a child, so basically they sacrificed her. That's what it seems like. That well, not seem that's apparently that's what happened. That's insane to me. These two people were doing something they should not have been done, and they did it to their own child. You know, regardless if he's a step parent or not, you marry somebody, you say that you're gonna love them, their kid comes with it too. If you're protecting the mom and they have a kid, then the child comes, they fall up under that protection as well. See, Prince Petty says mom's up here looking like a failed Michael Jackson experiment. You know what? I was thinking that, like, remember Kanye West's song? She got a light skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson. Got a dark skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson. That's what that reminded me of. Miss Candy says, yes, he does like Botox stuff. Yeah. Okay. So before, when they were saying he was in good standing and like the doctorate shit and he got his own shop, it painted the image of like maybe this guy is a surgeon, but apparently he's not. He just does Botox stuff, but he should have a surgeon that's there to do things like that at his facility, to do the things he can't do that he's not licensed to do. That's crazy. Let's see. So here from Law and Crime Network, it says mom, stepdad locked up after teen's deadly boob job.
Mother and her significant other are reportedly under arrest after allegedly performing multiple plastic surgeries on a 14-year-old girl, which her father believes led to her death. He says he uncovered the shocking truth at this girl's funeral and immediately contacted authorities. Now an investigation has apparently led to charges. We are getting insight from an attorney who practices in Mexico on what happens next. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Let's see. Miss Candy said he runs a spa. Yeah, that's what yep. And then Prince says the problem is mom's had an addiction going under the knife. She got with a surgeon or a Botox dude, and she subjected her kid to it all. Yeah, I agree. She was trying to turn her daughter into her. She was trying to, yeah. Kind of like those parents who fired their kids, who forced their kids into those child model pageant things. Yeah, the same thing. Trying to live through their kids, trying to live through their children. And my problem is the mom. What makes it so sick is, who are you trying to make this little girl? Who are you trying to make her attractive to? Like, seriously, 14-year-old supposed to be in school doing homework, going to bed on time, getting up early in the morning, and doing it all over again. I'm confused as to why this mom would look at her daughter and say, you could use a boob job. That's like weird. This is sick.
This is another law and crime legal alert. There are allegations 65 multi-boosted parts hooked and speaking on the with addictions.com/couple has reportedly to take a short.
Also, what's crazy, do y'all know it's like now gambling lawsuits, which is I didn't know people would be doing things like that. Like you could sue somebody because you have an addiction to gambling. It's crazy.
Quiz and check your eligibility to file a claim. A Mexican couple has reportedly been arrested and charged in connection with the death of Paloma Nicole Arellano Escobedo, a 14-year-old who died in September at a private medical clinic in Durango. According to reporting from multiple news outlets in Mexico, one of the suspects, Paloma Nicole's own mother, Paloma Yasmin, told Paloma Nicole's father, Carlos, that she had died from complications of COVID-19. The problem with that is he apparently discovered during his daughter's funeral that his daughter had obviously had cosmetic surgeries done, including breast augmentation. The Arizona Republic, this news outlet here in the United States, published a statement reportedly from Carlos via the prosecutor's office in Durango. And that statement says, quote, "At the funeral, some relatives told me her breasts were larger than what she had before. And when I mentioned it to her mother, she told me it wasn't true, that she didn't know anything. That night, I asked her mother to leave the room so I could talk to the girl to say my goodbyes. For some reason, she didn't want to. I managed to convince her and her entire family to leave, and they did. My sister, my sister-in-law, my mother, and I stayed inside. They examined my daughter, and sure enough, she had breast implants. We have photographs of the implants and the scars." Now, Paloma Yasmin and Carlos, they are apparently divorced. And Paloma Yasmin got remarried to a plastic surgeon, Dr. Victor Manuel Rosales Galindo. MSV Noticias reports that Rosales Galindo allowed him.
See what I mean? Some people report him as this surgeon, but then other people are looking it up and saying that he doesn't have it, a license to do that. So oh man. I'll be really interested once all the details come out to see like what's really going on. Like seriously, I can't wait. I can't wait for the updates.
His wife to work alongside him during medical procedures and surgeries. The problem with that is apparently she didn't study medicine. Now, this alleged breast augmentation, liposuction, butt lift surgeries, they were reportedly an early 15th birthday gift for Paloma Nicole. Carlos says he knew nothing about these surgeries and wouldn't have given his permission if he had. Paloma Nicole's death certificate, it lists her causes of death as cerebral edema, hypoxic encephalopathy, and bradycardia. And as far as we know, results of an autopsy haven't been released as of yet. But it's now being reported that Paloma Nicole's mother and stepfather were arrested on September 27th, the same day that Carlos led a march in Durango calling for justice. According to outlet Diario de Morelos, Paloma Yasmin is accused of neglect of care, so exposing a minor to unnecessary risks without the endorsement of the other parent, and practicing medicine without a license, while Rosales Galindo faces charges of abandonment and improper practice of medical service. There are also accusations of forgery in connection with the documents showing Paloma Nicole had tested positive for COVID-19. In fact, according to El Siglo de Durango, the head of the Commission for the Protection Against Health Risks of the state of Durango recently confirmed that the COVID-19 certificate was a fake, that the signature on it was forged. The Mexican Association of Plastic, Aesthetic, and Reconstructive Surgery suspended Rosales Galindo on September 24th, referred his case to its ethics committee. This is per Diario de Morelos. On October 3rd, according to El Siglo de Durango, the couple had what amounts to what we call here in the United States a preliminary hearing, where apparently a judge determined that there was enough evidence for the two of them to go to trial. MVS Noticias reports that the two are being held in pretrial detention. They're expected to go to trial early next year. So to talk about this case,
All right. So you see, like, I had went back. I know some I forgot to read, right? And so that Victor Manuel, they're saying that his father, somebody, is a judge, but it's just so much going on with this. Let's see. And so they talked about the falsifying of the COVID-19 test, which was a fake. Miss Candy says, "I'd like to know the outcome of this." I would too. I'm interested to know. Good thing about Law and Crime Network, they do updates and follow up on their cases. Investigators added that a falsified COVID-19 test was used as part of the paperwork for the procedure. We already had conclusive evidence that the document was altered or falsified based on the previous one, the Attorney General said. The case has sparked widespread outrage in Durango on Saturday, September 27. Hundreds of people took to the streets to demand justice for Nicole. Her father led the march, telling reporters, "It's a pain that destroys you. It destroys all hope, all dreams. I had so many plans for my daughter, and suddenly everything fell apart." So here, Nicole's half brother, Christopher Olivas, has since posted online to say that the family has received threats via WhatsApp following the arrest. He decided Nicole as someone who, well, I say decided, he described Nicole as someone who loved beauty, makeup, and taking care of her curls, and said she struggled with insecurities like many young people her age. And that's sad that instead of talking to her, telling her how beautiful she is, her mom said, "Well, we'll just give you some breast implants." And I was like, in a disturbing detail, reports have also surfaced that Victor Manuel's own mother died after undergoing a similar cosmetic operation at the same clinic. What? Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Shout out to Miss Candy. I'm glad you found the channel today, too. You're always welcome back. I appreciate you being here today. I wonder, is some of these things true or are these rumors? This cannot be real. In a disturbing detail, reports have also surfaced that Victor Manuel's stepfather, his own mother, died after undergoing a similar cosmetic operation at the same clinic. How? Man. Nicole's case has become a rallying point in Mexico, raising serious questions about unlicensed cosmetic procedures, accountability, and the protection of minors. Man. Sad, sad, sad. Well, that's everything so far. Of course, if something comes out later on, I'll do it. I saw this headline and stuff. When I saw this headline, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how on earth can a 14-year-old get breast implants? But over the years, I've seen things, not just Mexico, United States, other countries. When I was typing in, is it legal? Is it illegal? I saw other stories over the years of minors and the complications, and so this stuff has been going on. Apparently, I saw stories going back about 12 years, so apparently it's going on and it's happening and stuff. I saw one news article said is cosmetic surgery amongst minors on the rise, so I'm just new to this. I didn't never think something like this happened, or that a mother would approve it. That a mother, a parent would take her 14-year-old down to get breast implants, and not just that, also BBL. I just did not think so. Yep. Shout out to Miss Candy. That is exactly. I agree with you. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You see what I'm saying? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So, but people use that excuse all the time. Was it illegal? Like, okay, I understand it wasn't illegal, but it don't mean you should do it. Some things they just haven't made a law for it because it just ain't really happened. You see what I'm saying? Hell, when crack first came out, it wasn't illegal. They had to make a law for it. Because we all know now that you shouldn't do it. Let's see. Shout out Prince of Petty says Mexico is like Mars of our planet. It's just different, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Prince, I'm telling you, it ain't even just happening in Mexico. Things like that done happened over in the United States and other places too. So I don't. Let's see. Prince said, that's what Corey Holcomb said. Let me shut up. Man, apparently, I had to revisit that because remember I did the video with Corey Holcomb versus Anton Daniels, and like since then, apparently some people been exposing. Well, apparently they've been exposing both of them, Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels. It's like the people that like both of them, those two groups have been going at it, trying to expose the other side. It's been crazy, man. I have to I'm pausing because I was about to say I have to go back and look and check it out, but I don't think I will. Honestly, I like to watch the debates and stuff like that. I don't know if I like the exposing of people like that. Like, God, I don't think it means that. I think the people that's they fans is gonna remain they fans, and it don't matter. I think like somebody tried to expose. They said something about Corey Holcomb and he wasn't a good dad to his daughter or something like that. And I was like, people who are fans of Corey Holcomb, the crazy stuff they done heard him say, they don't care about stuff like that. You like wasting your time telling them something like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying, people that are fans of him, not going to care. All righty. Well, I'm gonna get my let's see, I'm gonna get my final thoughts. I'm gonna put these two people back up on the screen. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out my brother T. Shout out my brother the Prince of Petty. Shout out to G. Shout out to Ark. Shout out to Carlitos. Shout out to C-Wag. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out. And shout out to Miss Candy. Thank you. I appreciate you for coming through. Let's see. Oh, Prince Petty says Corey a pred dog. I ain't worried about Anton. Corey got some stuff that shows he may be a predator. He talked too much. Hey man, if you find some videos and stuff, man, send it to me, man. I don't be watching all them, man. I be having a hard enough time. If you got a good video of somebody you trust, send it to me. Cause we can do that one of these days, man. Do a show on that. Then. Ms. Candy says in America, doctors have malpractice insurance. In Mexico, it's a free for all. Oh, okay. Mm. All right. go through my notes. This case forces us to confront a painful truth. The world is grooming girls into womanhood before they even live their childhood. A 14-year-old should not be thinking about liposuction, implants, or fixing things. She should have been protected from the very pressures that ended up consuming her. Instead, the adults around her fed into it. And one of them allegedly took it to a deadly extreme. And while the law in Mexico may not forbid cosmetic procedures on minors, morality should. Parental instinct should. A mother's love should. But in this case, those safeguards failed. A child was treated like a project, a canvas, a body to be modified, not a life to be protected. Let this be a warning when society normalizes the over-sexualization of young girls, when parents prioritize appearance over safety, when adults forget that children are not accessories. Tragedies like this become inevitable. On this platform, we will always stand with the children who never got the chance to grow up, and we will always call out the adults who failed them. And this is Risky Behavior ENT. I'm about to head out and go make me something to eat. Be on the tongue tie. Be on the lookout Monday, 10 o'clock in the morning. I got a pre-recorded show that'll be coming out. Pretty cool. So, all right, Miss Candy, have a good day. Be blessed. Be blessed. I can't wait to see y'all all again next time. I might jump on later, but I don't want to do nothing sad. I just want to watch something like debatey or something. So I might come back on and play something from the Dr. Dav show or something like that. All right. So. Boom, 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 boom. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hype up the video whenever possible. Let's see. Prince says I had a video coming out about the 3-year-old in Vegas. Also, that reminds me, for anybody watching now on the replay, make sure you type into your search the Prince of Petty. He does a lot of true crimes against kids, bringing awareness to those things. Please check that out. And so yeah, check that out. Subscribe, put your notifications on, watch those videos. Let's see. Miss Candy says she I set the alert. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And Prince, I was waiting for the mom's press conference, but she never did it with her attorney. Oh, okay. Man, let me know. And definitely, and I'll also share it on my page as well. All right. I'll holler at y'all later. I'm about to get up out of here. All right. Y'all be blessed. Have a great day. Happy Valentine's to everybody. And find somebody to tell them you love them. You know. Yeah, Prince, she was smart because those press conferences mess them up every time. The number one person at a press conference is the detective. Every time they screw themselves up. So yeah, man. All right, I'll holler at you, bro.
Risky behavior.